Lovely bus indeed. Look at this thing. What a massive bus indeed. And just see if we can't make it up this little hill. So let's try this again. Come on! Power, 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 power. Come on, come on, come on. Now, this thing actually does have a differential lock as well. So when you're driving, whoops! Oh boy. I think it might be time for a new bus. I've ruined this one. This was definitely a bad idea. It's very easy to go off to the left there in the distance, and there's a whole pile of rocks down there. That's it. I think I've lost it. I'm on the brakes, I'm on the brakes, I'm on the brakes. Try not to brake too hard because I'm trying to steer at the same time. Trying to turn. No! Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This week I thought I would take a look at BeamNG.drive once again, and I recently in my travels on Reddit I came across a few posts from people just talking about this mod. This is what we're looking at right here. This is the Capsule Bus mod. It's currently in beta. Version 1021 is what I've got here, what we're looking at. And basically this is a third-party add-on mod vehicle for BeamNG.drive, the premier physics simulation or driving simulator basically. I must say this bus is a bit of a breath of fresh air to the game, because I've been wanting a new bus for quite a while in BeamNG. I've gotten a little bit tired of the existing buses that are in the game. There's not that many actually. There's just the school bus mod or mods that are out there, and then you've got the standard transit bus, which kind of got old after a while. But I'm really loving this Capsule Bus because it's got that really sleek 1950s kind of vibe, futuristic vibe to it. I don't know, it just reminds me of a bus that would be in like Fallout, you know, the game Fallout, for those of you who know it. Anyway, so with this mod there's quite a few little bells and whistles on here. You can go ahead and you can open the engine door. You can view the engine. Looks like we've got a diesel engine here, which is pretty standard for a bus. You can see that it's modeled quite well. You've even got the little air compressor there. We've got all the engine drive belts, fan belts and whatnot. So yeah, all this is modeled pretty well. Looking pretty cool in here. You can see the little turbo back there as well on the diesel engine. And yeah, so the detail is actually is pretty good, I must say, and being it is in BeamNG as well, you just know that the driving physics are going to be pretty good, more or less. We'll hop inside in just a second and have a bit of a look as well. And that's the really cool thing about this mod as well. You can actually open the doors on the bus just by pressing these little buttons on the outside. You can also just press the O key on the keyboard to open the doors if you're seated in the bus as well. Now, there is a walking mode in the game, which is what I'm using right now, but it doesn't really work too well trying to move around inside vehicles. It's more for moving outside on the terrain itself. So I'm just going to I'm trying to move forward here, but I make no sort of promises that I'll be able to move inside the bus here. Here we go. Actually, this is not too bad now. There we go. There's a staircase and there's a second story, so obviously it's a double-decker bus, but I'm not going to try getting up there. You can switch the views while you're driving the bus, and that will take you up to the top. You get a nice little view from the top, which we'll have a bit of a look at in just a second. But yes, here we are at the business end of the bus, the Capsule Bus, and you can see here the driver's station. Very, very minimalist, very futuristic kind of layout here. And I don't believe it's modeled after a real bus as such, as far as I know. But it's got their quite a few little displays up top, and on the driver's pedestal as well there's a nice little sort of a digital readout. So yeah, you've got the openable passenger doors, you've got wheelchair ramps, the engine door as we saw we can open as well. We've got that digital readout which we can change to metric or imperial. I think I've got mine set to metric. Just go ahead and start the engine here and you'll see there we've got the speed, we've got the RPM counter there towards the bottom. So the main I guess the main display has the speed at the top, you've got the RPM gauge at the bottom, and then you've got your water, oil pressure, and all that kind of thing. We'll just go ahead and close the doors up now, and we'll be able to rev it, and you'll be able to see how the tacho works as well. Before we do that, just have a quick look here on our driver's station. Now, in true BeamNG form, none of these buttons are actually clickable, so they're more just for show. But yeah, you can see here, take a bit of a close look. It shows you there the date, the time, the oil pressure, the water temperature, the fuel level, the battery voltage, all that kind of thing. And you can see I'm just revving the engine there. You can see the tachometer sweep at the bottom half of the sphere there. Of the gauge. So yeah, anyway, we've got it into drive now. We'll just take the park brake off, and we can see it's already tried to creep forward there. So yeah, I think we're ready to go. And I am using the Track IR head tracking system here, and I've just increased my field of view a little bit, just so that I get a bit of a, I guess a better view from inside, because there's not much to see otherwise. It's just a huge pane of glass. Okay, so the one thing with this bus as well is that it's got four-wheel steering. You'll notice there, you may notice this now, but you will see it as I turn the camera, that when we steer, when I steer the bus, you can see the rear wheels actually turning as well. So let's just flick on the indicator here and just do a hard right. Oh, look at that. So this thing is, considering the length of this bus, it's actually turning pretty much on the dime here, because the rearmost axle is also helping to steer as well. Not quite the same steering angle as the front axle, but it's still very, very versatile when it comes to handling and steering. You really have to mess things up to get yourself into trouble going around corners with this bus, I found. As long as you take a little bit of care, you should be fine. Alright, let's head on down the highway and just see what sort of trouble we can get up to here in BeamNG.drive. As you guys may know, this is the ultimate simulation for destruction and damage and physics modeling and all that sort of thing. And I must say, the handling of these vehicles in BeamNG of late, especially with all these updates, it just seems to be getting better and better. So this bus as well just seems to be handling very nicely for a beta mod. So very, very impressed with this so far. It's pretty quiet inside as well. Just looking at some of the little dirt tracks that we have around. Might see if we can get into some trouble later on and just see how well this thing does off-road. Now, this thing actually does have a differential lock as well. So when you're driving, whoops! Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. I think it might be time for a new bus. I've ruined this one. Okay, so we're just trying this again. Wasn't paying attention there. What was I saying? I think it was around the Diff Lock. So this thing has a Diff Lock. It's only got one driven axle on the rear. And you can hear those sounds as I go off the road just there as well. Very nice. So yeah, you can engage the Diff Lock when driving off-road, just to give you a bit more traction. I really got to be careful in these external views, because I still got to watch out where I'm driving when I do this. So I'm a little bit wary right now. Yep, there's a curve. Let's make sure we don't run into anything like we did last time. Very smooth indeed. I must say, it's just rolling along. We're doing about 55 miles an hour here. Oh, here comes a bridge. Slow down a little bit for that. The diesel engine has got heaps of power in reserve, and I believe it's got a 6-speed automatic transmission, so quite an intelligent transmission. It will kick down when you put your foot on the floor. Here we go, we're upstairs now. You can see the different views that you are afforded in the bus as you cycle through them. Got quite a bit of a drop off there on our left hand side. I bet some of you are probably hoping that I'll drive off the cliff there. Maybe I'll do that towards the end. Lovely bus indeed. Look at this thing. What a massive bus indeed. And the brakes on a dime. I'm just hard on the brakes there, and it's just stopped on a dime pretty much. So it does have this ESC or ESP, whatever it is, the traction control basically. And I haven't figured out a way to turn it off in the game. It's just constantly on, so you do have traction control by default all the time, which is a pretty good thing for the most part. Got a bus stop coming up on the right hand side. I don't really have any objectives where I'm driving right now. There is a bus stop feature in this game that they've added in where you can pick up passengers and things like that, but I'm not going to do that today. The purpose of this video is just to take the bus for a little bit of a drive, have a bit of a look at it for the first time. Maybe I'll just turn right here. We've got the township up the hill here. We're just sitting upstairs still on the second story of the bus. Wonderful views from up here. You can see on the temperature gauge there that the engine's starting to warm up a little bit. Now, because the engine is located in the rear of the vehicle, if you run into anything with the bus, it's very unlikely that you'll damage the engine. So I guess it's probably a pretty cool vehicle for like a demo derby or something like that if you chose to go down that path. I might stop by in Utah, which is one of the sort of more desert-based maps, I guess you could say, after this, and try our hand out in the canyons. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try going down one of these little dirt tracks here and just see how what sort of prowess this thing has, or how capable it is going off the road a little bit. Considering I've got full steering lock here, it's doing a pretty good job of trying to turn. No, I'm going to have to reverse, I think. Now I am using the Logitech G27 wheel and pedal H shifter combo here, and I definitely recommend using a steering wheel for BeamNG.drive anyway, in general. It's a beautiful game indeed, and a beautiful bus. Love those sounds as we hit the dirt here. You can hear the dirt crunching under the tires. Rather large bus here to be driving through this little forest lane for sure. This bus is definitely not in service right now. Just going a little bit off the beaten path here, seeing what we can find, and we've found the highway again. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep on going straight through. Was just checking the height there of the roof. It's the tree line is quite low in areas around here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we pick up a little bit of damage to the roof by the end of this. Oh, got a fork in the road here. Go off to the left hand side. Ooh, that's not that. All that doesn't sound very good right now. Scrape and rub and all sorts of things. Okay, back on the highway now. Got our foot on the floor. Into third gear. This thing picks up speed pretty quick actually. Over the bridge here. Doing around 40 miles an hour. Just keeping my eye out. There we go. That's the hill that we just went up actually on the left hand side. So we're just heading back in the direction that we came from. And I might see... Oh, hang on. I think there's a bit of damage up top there. I just saw on the top second story glass at the front, which is a bit of a shame. Must have hit something in the forest there. We'll take a little bit of a more in-depth look in just a moment. Okay, fourth gear. 50 miles an hour. Just got to be a little bit wary here. Ooh, just missed a nice little trail there. Next one, promise. Next dirt road I see, I'm going to try and turn into, and hopefully we come out the other side without losing the bus or tipping it over or something. Some of the other features this bus has are interior lights. You can actually put in there a dummy driver and a whole bunch of dummy passengers as well. And then in true BeamNG.drive form, you can go and run into all sorts of objects and watch the dummies go flying. So that's pretty cool. There's a few different configurations. There's the low roof version, which I'll have a look at as well after this. We are driving the standard body version right now, and here we are, just seeing a dirt road. So let's go ahead and try out the Diff Lock, because oops, I think I've hit the guardrail here. Let's have a look at the roof. Yeah, okay. You can see that it's kind of buckled a little bit, and yeah, you can definitely see a crease there in the glass towards the front. So yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, you can see there's a slight bit of damage on it, but just ran into the guardrail a little bit there as well, but not much damage otherwise. Okay, so we're just going to go hard left, and I'm just going to see. Okay, let's engage the Diff Lock. So down here, bottom right, click the mouse. Next to the starter button, there's a little Diff Lock icon, so I've just clicked that on just now. Now there's only one driven axle here, and that driven axle now has pretty much no traction because both the wheels are elevated. So I'm gonna have to just I might just try going at it once more with a little bit more speed and just see if we can't make it up this little hill. So let's try this again. Come on, power, 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 power. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, alright. Got the Diff Lock engaged, so that definitely helps in that situation. And unfortunately we've met with a dead end. Now if we had a Jeep or something in the game, we could probably go over this little mound and see what's on the other side, but yeah, I really don't think that we're going to be able to do that in this bus, so I might as well just reverse. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just head back towards the gas station now, and then we'll probably choose a different map, the Utah map, and head on into the canyons and see what we can manage. Taking a nice leisurely drive here back to the gas station, back over the bridge, that little wood bridge that we saw at the start. Almost ran off the road just now, just trying to get some nice camera angles. Anyway. More camera angles. I'm really liking the look of this bus. It's really growing on me actually. Didn't look like much to begin with, but the mod itself is done very well. I think more or less it could almost be considered a full release version. I haven't really been able to fault it. There's a few different other configurations as well. I mentioned a few before. There's the low roof, which I'll have a look at shortly. There's also a panoramic version, which doesn't have a roof at all. There's a drift version, which has a welded differential and a race turbocharger, heavily tuned engine, quote unquote. There's a power glow version, which is all kind of lit up in lights. And there's also a JATO rocket fuel version of this bus as well, believe it or not. Which has a huge plow on the front of it, so you can just imagine what's possible with that version of the bus as well. Line up a whole bunch of other vehicles and plow them out of the way, basically. Probably won't get time to do any of that today. This is just the first look, as I mentioned before, but what we will do in just a second, after I assess the rest of the damage that I've done to this bus so far, is head on over to the Utah map in the USA and just try out the low roof version of this bus in the canyons and just see what trouble we can get up to there. So let's do that now. Okay, so here we are in Utah. This is, as I said, the low roof version of the bus. So it's got a slightly different design up top. It's got less of a bubble sort of look up top. Otherwise it's mostly the same. It's got the same engine specs and things like that. Differential and whatnot is all the same. But I just thought we'd take a bit of a look in Utah, because this is quite an interesting map as well. There's a really high risk of getting into trouble on this map. It's got some huge canyons and cliff edges and things like that, so you can really get into trouble here if we're not careful. And you know me, I'm not going to be careful, so just looking over the edge there, got quite a drop indeed on the left hand side. And this thing's just holding first gear right now. It's trying to go up this hill. I can't quite do it. Well, can't quite shift right now, but there it is. It's in second. Finally, and it should start to upshift now because it's leveled out. There's a few little mine shafts on this map as well, but there's no way we're going to be able to squeeze this huge bus into those little low shafts. I have taken a few vehicles through there, a few cars through there in the past though. So, alright, still in second gear here. Traction control is going a little bit crazy. It could be these bad roads. The roads have quite a bit of irregularities on them. Oh, keep it on the road. That would be ideal. Got some switchbacks here, or some curves. Just trying to negotiate these. Just a look out for that little dirt section coming up. Shouldn't be too far away now. Trying to make sure I keep this thing on the road and not flying off a cliff as such. Okay, so here's the little dirt section. There's a mine shaft on the right hand side there, like what I was talking about before, but definitely not going to try going there. It's way too low. Gonna see if we can go down this little dirt section, this little road track. I guess doesn't look like much right now, but oh, there's a huge descent here, so if you're not careful you can really lose control coming down here. Once we get about halfway in, it just drops right down, so I think we're coming up to that halfway point now. Once we pass through this little rock section here, it basically drops straight down almost. This was a bad idea actually. This was definitely a bad idea. It's very easy to go off to the left there in the distance, and there's a whole pile of rocks down there. You can see the track actually veers to the right. That's it. I think I've lost it. I'm on the brakes, I'm on the brakes, I'm on the brakes. Try not to brake too hard because I'm trying to steer at the same time. Trying to turn. No. Okay. Well, I think, yeah, I don't think there's a way out of this right now, so I think we might just have to reset the bus back to the starting position because I can't go forward. My diff lock is on. I can't move forward, and I doubt I'll be able to reverse as well. So yeah, the wheels are just spinning freely there, the driving wheels, because yeah, they've got no contact with the ground basically. Oh, I can see the rear bumper is basically propped up by that little rock shelf. So alright, let's just reset the bus and try this again. I think this time what I'll do is I will head off to the right hand side. So just hang it right here. Not to say that it's any less hazardous going this way. There's a whole bunch of switchbacks up here as well. It's actually a little bit more treacherous, as you can see. There's some really tight hairpins here. So start from the far left and then try and take the racing line. Try and take up as much of the road as we can here because it's quite a long vehicle. I will put a link to this bus in the description of this video for those of you who want to go out and download it. This is quite literally one of the best mods for the game that I've seen so far. So really happy with this. I'm loving it. It's got the perfect amount of detail. I love the way it handles as well. Just unbelievably good. I mean, I'm getting some good frame rates with it too. And the optimizations are done pretty well, even with the dummies on board, which I haven't shown in this video, but once you put them on, it actually still works really well, even with all those extra physics calculations going on with the dummies on board. Look at this thing, it glides along like it's on a magic carpet basically, so really can't fault it right now. Really happy with it. Powerful brakes. No issues with the brakes. Whoop, just roll straight through that stop sign, it's fine. Got no traffic on this map today, so it's just us here. But there's an idea actually. Load up some traffic and load up the plow bus with the plow attachment. See how many vehicles we can knock off the road. Okay, got my foot on the floor now, just going to see what kind of speed we can get up to here, because we've got a bit of a straight section in front of us. The road in the distance kind of veers off to the right hand side, and there's a curve as you can see, and an incline, so we'll see what sort of speed we get up to in the meantime. We're doing 70 plus miles an hour right now, 120k plus an hour. Wow, okay, that was 6th gear anyway, so have to slow down now because of this curve. Got a bit of a junction up here. I think I'm going to hang a right hand turn. No need to really look because there's no traffic, but I will anyway. Hard on the throttle, charge up this hill. 2nd gear. It's going to struggle a little bit. It's probably going to hold 2nd for a little while. Yep, 2nd gear, doing about 2200 RPM. That's all she's got. 3rd gear finally. I gotta try and keep it on the road actually. Coming up to the conclusion of this video now, folks. So far, yes, I really must say this is a very worthy mod for BeamNG.drive. If you're into buses, realistic buses, as in realistically handling buses and things like that, I definitely recommend picking up this mod for BeamNG.drive. The physics are done very well. It's a very nicely handling bus, like I said, and just as the steering dynamics are very well done as well. With that 4-wheel steering, like I was mentioning before, really helps this thing corner and maneuver in those tight spots and go around these curves really well, so definitely recommend it for that. Just coming up to a peak here, just on this rather large incline. Wonderful infrastructure up here, these roads. Bus is really struggling a little bit, but holding our speed at least. Alright, I think I'll call it here, folks. So thank you so much for watching if you've gotten this far. Really appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe as usual if you haven't already. Please share this video with your friends as well if you enjoyed it. And of course, don't forget to check out my socials, Instagram, Facebook. I've got the links in the description below as well. This gives you a bit of an update as to what else is going on with the channel and behind the scenes kind of stuff. Okay, just going to turn off the engine here and open up the doors and hop outside. Just like that. Yeah, I must say, it's a really nice little mod as I've mentioned just now. So yeah, highly recommended. Please let me know, like I said, in the comments if you'd like me to do anything more in BeamNG.drive or with this bus. I'll probably be spending quite a bit of time driving this thing, I can see, in the future. So definitely well recommended, and good job to the author of this vehicle as well. So as I said before, check out the description of this video. You'll see a link to this vehicle, a download link to the BeamNG.com resource where you'll be able to download this vehicle. So go ahead, check it out. And yeah, I think I'll finish this video off just by showing you a few little bloopers. I'm sure you guys are very much interested in seeing what the damage modeling is on this bus, even though I did accidentally crash it at the beginning of this video. Just thought I would throw in a few extra little bits and pieces. So yeah, I think we'll leave it here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.